Spanish is a beautiful language, spoken by millions of people around the world. However, for many learners, listening comprehension in Spanish can be challenging because of its speed, even frustrating. Which brings us to the big question: is it just me, or is Spanish a really brutally fast language? In an article called Speech Rate Across Languages, a Review, which was published in the Journal of Phonetics in 2011, Francois Pellegrino, Christopher Coupe, and Egidio Marsico analyzed the average speed at which 5 major languages are spoken: English, French, Japanese, Mandarin Chinese, and Spanish. As we can see, if we analyze the average number of syllables that native speakers of these languages use per second, there is a significant difference in the pace of speech among these languages. Japanese takes the lead with 7.84 syllables per second, and Spanish is almost identical with 7.82 syllables per second. When we compare the data, we can see that both languages are much faster than French, English, and Mandarin Chinese. How does this affect Spanish learners? For practical purposes, this means that non-native speakers of Spanish may find it difficult to keep up with the pace of speech and process the language in real time. Spanish has many regional variations and dialects, which can further complicate the listening comprehension process for learners. In addition, Spanish is a language with a lot of vowel sounds, which can make it difficult for non-native speakers to distinguish between similar sounds. For example, the vowels E and I can sound quite similar to English speakers, and the vowels O and U can also be difficult to distinguish. The combination of the fast pace of spoken Spanish, the regional variations in the language, and some of the vowel sounds can make it even more challenging for non-native speakers to recognize even words and phrases they know in Spanish, especially if their learning materials are not created to address those issues. Simplified, slowed-down materials prepare learners for a reality that doesn't exist beyond their Spanish courses. How can learners improve their listening comprehension? Improving listening comprehension in Spanish can be a challenging task, but with dedication and persistence, it is achievable. Here are tips to push through the listening comprehension barrier and succeed at the listening comprehension game. Tip number 1. Be systematic and practice regularly, even if it's only for a few minutes each day. Tip number 2. Listen to real, fast-paced spoken language. This is essential to becoming accustomed to conversational Spanish. Tip 3. The need for speed. While slowing down audio can be helpful at times, it's crucial to always default back to regular pace of speech to get used to the real thing, which is how native Spanish speakers communicate. Tip number 4. The more the merrier. Listen to a variety of speakers from many different areas and with as many different accents as possible. Tip number 5. Choose wisely. Choose learning materials that focus on real language and its complexities. As a rule of thumb, if it doesn't sound natural, run. Avoid materials in which everyone speaks too clearly and sounds like professional speakers. Tip number 6. The end is the beginning. You are not done when you finish a listening activity. Always go back to previous stories and listen to them over and over again with subtitles, and once you are 100% certain of what they say, without any subtitles. This will enable you to consolidate all the new vocabulary that you learned and recognize words and word blends effortlessly. In summary, Spanish is one of the 2 fastest spoken languages in the world. While it may seem like an unsurmountable challenge for some learners at times, with the right mindset and the right materials, developing solid listening comprehension skills is not only predictable, but doable for anyone, regardless of their level and age.